I started with nothing and came out a king. I've been the one that's been ballin' for rings. It's been me and my team and we chasing the green. My team be the shit, we ain't ballin' for free. I started with nothing and came out a king. I've been the one that's been ballin' for rings. It's been me and my team and we chasing the green. My team be the shit, we ain't ballin' for free. My team be the shit, we ain't ballin' for free.
Hello everyone, thank you for coming back again for another episode of the D&B podcast. We are in week 5. I'm Camilio Salamander. We got KB the Mark in the building.
Cause I'm a fucking mark for this shit.
Now guys, like I said, we in week 5. What has the wrestling world brought to us today? Well, we have a lot of shit to talk about. So we are going to talk about the big moments that happened this week. And we have a lot of news to talk about. So KB, go ahead, take over.
Salamander, we are in week 5. Week 5, think of that. We've had 5 weeks of wrestling. But before we get into it, like I always ask you, how you doing? How you doing today? You doing excellent?
I'm doing Mac Marvelous.
So before we jump into a quick question. This is week 5. How are you feeling right now? Just with everything that's happened in the wrestling world in 5 weeks. How are you feeling about it?
So far, I feel like there's a lot of big things that happened so far already within these last 5 weeks, especially on the WWE side. I really feel like they doing big things right now, but it just make me anxious to see what they have for the rest of the year. 5 weeks out of 52 weeks in wrestling, so we going to see what WWE has in plan down the line.
I definitely agree. I'm kind of up in the air on both companies, some good, some bad. If I'm being honest with you, Salamander, I kind of got WWE in the lead. It's a slight lead, like very slight, but I will have WWE in the lead for what's had me hooked and wanting to know more.
But in terms of WWE in the lead, I have AEW in the lead because
really,
WWE, it seems like they've been more dependent on their legends to make an impact. AEW, I don't see that. I see they actually using a roster week in, week out. WWE, they keep turning back to these legends and everything, so they're not building no talent, and it's showing. But don't get me wrong, at the end of the day, they still have big storylines that keeping me interested. But I don't know. I say AEW got them beat by a little margin.
Okay, I respect that. Starting off Monday Night Raw, we had Brock Lesnar, Adam Pearce, Bobby Lashley opening segment. Pretty much Adam Pearce recapping the Royal Rumble and telling Bobby Lashley that he will be defending his WWE Championship in the Elimination Chamber that's going to be in Saudi Arabia.
All right.
Brock Lesnar came out. Oh, I'm sorry, I will finish. Hold on.
Finish.
Okay, go ahead.
I'm gonna shit on that because I think instead of having him defend it at the chamber, I think they should have actually held a number 1 contenders match. That way you could save it for a later date. You could build this up until Mania instead of giving it to us so early. I just feel like they missed an opportunity on that. Because with them putting the title on the line, that take away a slot for them to be building up the next number 1 contender. And then also in the chamber, they could be building up 2 other guys too, like the last 3. Could ultimately get a push later down the line. But I don't know. I just feel like they could have went 2 different ways. I think it's too early for a defense like right now because Mania is right around the corner. 2 months away. So I think it's too early. They could have put it off. Number one contenders match. Boom. Whoever win that is number one contender for Lashley WWE title. And then from there, you could have went ahead and had them in a match to prove that they are worthy enough to face Lashley at that next pay-per-view or Mania. Then at Mania, boom, had them do the face-off. And that's what it is.
Brock Lesnar came out and was ready to fight. I didn't know they were in Cincinnati. Brock Lesnar came out ready to fight. Bobby Lashley declined, or MVP declined. Lashley was ready for it. And Adam Pearce said Brock Lesnar is automatically in the Elimination Chamber match.
I want to point out, did you see my guy Blazer? Did you see my guy's suit?
First off, I'm glad you said
fishy.
I'm so glad you said that, because when I seen the suit, I said, that's nasty. That's a nasty suit. Yeah.
You could tell he didn't bring his wrestling gear. If you come in that fishy to Raw or SmackDown, you're not wrestling that night. You ain't come with the intentions to wrestle.
Yeah.
But I do like how they was teasing Brock's a potential match on Raw for Brock. I didn't really know it was 20 years since he fought on Raw. If it from what I saw, it was like they teased it. Last time he fought on Raw was 20 years ago. I don't think it was that long. I don't know. If it was, I didn't even notice. Damn. Have he been on SmackDown this whole damn time? He ain't fought on Raw that long, since early 2000s? Damn.
I couldn't tell you, but
I guess like the Raw Super Show shit, I guess that shit don't count. But like just of it being a brand split, I guess it has been 20 years if you count the brands. Just him being on Raw as a brand split, I guess, I don't know. I don't think that's accurate though.
Yeah, I don't know. But now that I think about it, But now that I think about it, you really do only see Brock at pay-per-views. He don't fight on weekdays.
Yeah, but what he do is be on SmackDown. I don't know. I mean, I guess if you count the brand split and then Raw Superstars being just on Raw, SmackDown Superstars being just on SmackDown, then I guess, yeah, it has been 20 years since he been on Raw, if you put it that way. Because he always been on SmackDown or a free agent or just being on pay-per-views for one of them.
I'm going to ask you this and then I'm going to hurry up and wrap up this segment so we can move on. Well, has the last time Brock wrestled on the weekday, was it when he took the belt off of Kofi Kingston?
I think so.
Wow.
I do want to say
years ago. That was years ago.
Like about two.
Nah, he took that belt off Kofi Kingston in what, when they moved to Fox. Wasn't that like 2019?
I swore that was like the beginning of like 2019.
When was Daniel Bryan champion? When was Daniel Bryan champion as the heel?
It was before the pandemic. But once it happened, I think the pandemic was a couple months later. So I would say it was 2019.
Why don't we just look it up? Let me see.
But I do want to say that everybody in this match, I mean not match, but everybody in this segment did a great job.
Yes.
MVP, he played the voice of reason, and Lashley, he's Lashley. Lesnar, he looked confident. Everybody played their roles correctly doing this, but we all know he gonna win the Elimination Chamber. I just want to know, is they really gonna do what everybody thinking they gonna do and do the unification match at Mania? Because I mean, they claim they don't want to do it, but they keep booking themselves into doing it.
Yeah, I had a lot of the overall segment was cool. I guess my issue is just throwing Brock Lesnar in there, but I guess you kind of had to.
But I say, I guess you kind of like everybody else. Put him in the match. Even though you know he gonna win, put him in the match.
Brock ain't fighting. Brock ain't fighting on no weekday. He took that belt off Kofi Kingston October 4th, 2019. That's going on 3 years. And he only did it because it was their first night on Fox. He wasn't coming out for nothing else. Yeah, probably.
Don't have
we had 7 seconds.
So
you know what?
Like, go out there, have 7 seconds, and get yourself in the elimination chamber match.
But you know what though? Looking back on it, it was probably the most realistic 7 seconds that I ever saw. Kofi Kingston came in there hot with the Trouble in Paradise. Brock Lesnar caught him.
I don't understand why he tried to thinking he was gonna end it that easy, that early.
I mean, it's Brock Lesnar, bro. You got to come in there with something. You got to come in there with your best.
Like, first move you gonna hit is your finisher. I guess, yeah. Once the bell ring, Roman hitting the spear, Goldberg hitting the spear. I get, yeah. It's a mix.
We had Nikki Ash versus Rhea Ripley. Rhea Ripley got the win. We had the Gable versus Riddle scooter race, which took over like 4 different segments. It ended with Chad Gable getting the win after Otis knocked Riddle off his scooter. It led to a match later on. We had Alexa Bliss therapy session. She was reminiscing with Lily, the not real Lily. We had Miz versus Dominic Mysterio. Miz got the win. I thought the makeup of this match was absolutely fantastic. It really put over how good the Miz is at being a mid-card heel.
It was a short match, but you know it showed what it needed to show. And you know the way that Miz wrestled, it played along with his character. But I would love to see a future feud between Miz and Dominique. If not Dominique, then both of them Mysterio.
Yeah, definitely. We had the Kevin Owens show with special guest Seth Rollins, where he said that he was automatically put into the Elimination Chamber match. And then Kevin Owens tried to tell Seth Rollins to put his spot up, go back there and tell Adam Pearce that Seth Rollins will back out if Kevin Owens doesn't get in. But it led to an Elimination Chamber qualifying match between Kevin Owens and Austin Theory. Austin Theory got the win. I thought that match was fantastic. Austin Theory is on his way. He's on his way.
But it also shows that I guess Kevin Owens' push right now is at a standstill. They did what they wanted to do. They got him to resign.
Nah, I think they're just waiting for Seth Rollins to be done with this championship picture so you can just throw him in a real tag team.
But why? Kevin Owens don't need to be in the tag. Seth Rollins don't need to be in the tag either. Just give Kevin Owens that singles push that he well deserved. It's been since since 2016 since he got last seen the singles, the main title. So it's about time for him to get that singles push. I mean, he's shown that he can do it.
Let me ask you a question. You think
he debuted and hit John Cena with a pop-up powerbomb and stepped on the United States title and held the NXT title up in the air? Get that man a push.
Let me ask you this. Since they got Kevin Owens to resign, do you think he might be in some 24/7 shenanigans somewhere down the line? Or is he just like mid-card? Just like that's where he's not 24/7.
As of right now, no. But I will see how the rest of the year falls in play before I make a final decision. Because depending on how he's booked for this year, will determine how the rest of his contract will go.
Okay. Hometown Angelo Dawkins beat Dolph Ziggler. I thought the match was okay. We had an elimination.
From Cincinnati.
Yes, he is.
I did not know that.
I didn't know that either.
Wow.
Right. Elimination Chamber qualifying match: Otis versus Riddle. Riddle got the win. I thought this was a great match. I'm glad to see that they put Riddle in the chamber. I'm very excited to see what he can do. This will be a different environment for him.
Yeah, it will. Yeah, Plus with his style and everything, I have a feeling out of everybody who's so far in the chamber, Matt Riddle, he's gonna be the one that's gonna do something spectacular in the match involving the chamber. Like he's either gonna dive off the pod or something. I put on him or Austin Theory doing something spectacular in the match. So far,
I'm probably gonna put it on Seth Rollins. I think everybody's gonna have their high spots, but I think Vince McMahon will leave the really like captivating ones to Seth Rollins. Maybe like you said, Riddle. I don't know about Austin Theory. That's a big spot for him. I'm surprised he even got in. You would think they want to go with Kevin Owens.
I mean, as it reports, Vince McMahon is 100% behind Austin Theory.
I believe it, bro.
Protege right now.
Yeah, I believe it. I was just telling my friend, Vince McMahon doesn't get on TV with anybody he doesn't believe in. Look at who he had programs with. Steve Austin, Roman Reigns. That's just to name a few. He even had a little stint with Kevin Owens. Like, Vince McMahon only puts himself in angles with money people who he sees can bring him money.
Exactly.
Oh, where were we? Yes, we had Carmella defeated Bianca Belair. Chad Gable and Otis set the third part of the academic thing that they're doing is going to be a quiz bowl. We had the Elimination Chamber qualifying match, Rey Mysterio versus AJ Styles. AJ Styles got the win off a beautiful transition into the Styles Clash.
I would love, man, if they can go ahead and have Dominique feud with Miz and AJ and Rey feud, that would be marvelous.
I can see that. And then we had Ronda Rousey, Becky Lynch, and Lita. Pretty much Ronda Rousey punked Becky Lynch, told her that she would be making her decision on Friday. Then Lita came out and said, let's just run it for Elimination Chamber since you're the GOAT and you're a fighting champion. I thought the whole thing was kind of clunky.
Yeah, because you already had the Brock thing, and then you kind of, I think they overbooked it because it was basically the same thing that happened in the beginning that opened the show. Ronda coming out. I mean, it's already known that she is gonna WWE basically spoil her decision before she made it that she's gonna face Charlotte Flair. So it kind of make you think and wonder, like, what was the point of it? She gonna make her decision on Friday because she's gonna confront Charlotte. And they're gonna have a back and forth. She gonna challenge her. That's what it's gonna be. I mean, I don't know why they doing all this extra shit. This is setting up for next year because that's gonna be. Everybody know it's reported. Charlotte and Ronda's going down this year at Mania. Next year at Mania, it's gonna be Ronda and Becky. That's already been reported. So it's like, I mean, it kind of leaves you in a hole still because it's like, what Becky gonna do? Hold the title for a whole another year? So she get to Ronda. I mean, I don't know. I agree with you. It do kind of seem like it was a clunk, like too much. They try to put too much in one thing. That's what it seemed like. If anything, one of those could have waited till next Monday. If you did a Becky thing, I mean, and Becky and Ronda thing. That Lita segment could have waited till next week. You could have had like her, Becky cutting a promo, then you had Lita come out and interrupt, boom. And then it built the anticipation too because, it was fresh off the Royal Rumble, so of course you kind of think that people, the legends and stuff for the Royal Rumble still hanging around because it's like 2 days right after. But that next week, she gonna get that big pop again because people thought, the legends and Lita and them was already gone, but the fact that Lita still hanging around to get that pop, challenge her, but now you thinking, oh, we about to get a full-time Lita. I think that should have waited that until next week. That would have been a talking moment for next week.
Yeah, so much was done wrong here. At least Ronda looked happy. She looked happy to be there, so That was always a plus.
Told you.
Moving.
Didn't think she was gonna get cheered.
Moving on.
Fucking with it.
Moving on through NXT 2.0, Imperium defeated Diamond Mine. Raquel Gonzalez defeated Cora Jade. Saray defeated Kayla Inlay. Joe Gacy beat LA Knight. Wendy Chu beat Amari Miller. Andre Chase beat Draco Anthony. Braun Breaker and Tommaso Ciampa beat Legado del Fantasma. Now we have AEW Dynamite. Jon Moxley. Well, first off, Salamander, you were wrong, and I was right.
Yup. Hey, I thought, man. All right, I'll just save it till when we get there. I'll save it.
Okay. Because what I'm going to tell you is going to shock you, because the person I always reference, he gave this match kind of a low score. So we're going to get there. AEW Dynamite. We're in Chicago, Illinois. We have Jon Moxley versus Wheeler Yuta, but it was supposed to be Brian Kendrick. He got hit with the cancel culture. He has some views that a lot of people didn't agree with. I personally didn't go and look into it. To me, that's none of my business. You know, I just try to keep it strictly wrestling. So that's where we are. Jon Moxley versus Wheeler Yuta. I thought it was a decent match. Wheeler Yuta's really getting up there. It led to a Bryan Danielson promo post-match where he was implying or telling Jon Moxley that him and Bryan Danielson and Jon Moxley could team up, take a couple of young wrestlers, a Daniel Garcia, a Lee Moriarty, a Wheeler Yuta, and make a new super group of pure professional wrestling. Salamander, I'm not going to hold you. This might be better than a Bryan Danielson, Jon Moxley feud.
I agree. It's gonna be like their evolution. Jon Moxley,
I was thinking the same thing.
And the Bryan Danielson, like, all right, so Bryan Danielson gonna be basically, he gonna fulfill the Ric Flair role. He been there, he's the vet out of all of them. And then Jon Moxley is gonna be the guy who got a couple years of experience under his belt, along with a couple title reigns and stuff, and under AEW. So he's gonna be the experienced version. Then they're gonna get two rookies that's gonna rock with them. They're gonna build them up to be the next mega stars that's gonna take over AEW in the future. And that's how I've seen it. I'm 100% behind it too, because what other way to protect Bryan Danielson and have him wrestle for a couple more years too? Especially if they lead by example, they start teaming up for like the first year themselves. And I would have them get two new guys. I wouldn't really have them get no guys that we've seen before. So then you got Bryan Danielson and you got Jon Moxley teaming up, and you got these two guys who's always ringside, and we just watching them like, okay, when's these guys gonna get in? And after they lead by example, we see the two tag, and then Jon Moxley they do their own singles thing, but still together. Lead by example for the tag to represent, so they know.
I see what you mean, but with the people they named, I can just see this group being like you said, like an evolution, and it would be just a group of pure professional wrestlers in AEW where they do professional wrestling. And if you think about it, Danielson is going to give you that technical side that you need to know, while Moxley is going to give you that brawler style if you need to switch it up based on the matchup. Daniel Garcia, Lee Moriarty, and Wheeler Yuta getting both sides of that. This group could be running AEW for years.
They could be better than the Elite.
They could be better than the Elite. They absolutely could be. Could you imagine the Survivor Series like matchups that we would get with Bryan Danielson, Jon Moxley, Wheeler Yuta, Lee Moriarty, Daniel Garcia against the Bucks, Kenny Omega, Cole, and Kyle O'Reilly and Bobby Fish? That's a pay-per-view main event. If you build the pay-per-view around that.
If they run a 4-on-4, who will be the members that represent?
I would do, if they doing fours.
Yeah.
The Bucks, Omega, Cole, and Danielson, Moxley, Moriarty, and Daniel Garcia.
Okay.
Yeah.
I can see that.
Anything else you want to add to this beautiful segment before we move on?
Oh no, I'm good. It's fine. This was like a perfect team, and it made me can't wait till next week. I can't wait.
Yes. Next up, we had a Brandy Rose and Dan Lambert promo back and forth. Solomon, I'm not gonna spend too much time on it. I'm gonna say just a couple of lines that totally threw me because they did a work shoot here, and it low key felt real. So Dan Lambert just says she should understand how bad it is for business when you start believing your own bullshit. She said they might have given her a reality show, but what she needs is a reality check. She can pretend Cody earned his spot and and Brandy earned her spot as chief brand officer. We all know that ain't a real title in AEW. It's just something given to you to stroke your massive ego. Then he went on to talk about her accent, and then he said her accent is as fake as the bulldogs that pop out of her shirt. So right now, Dan Lambert is already saving this because Brandy Rose came out and pretty much fucked up from the beginning, and it only got worse from there. He then followed up and said, but you can't pretend that you're not getting booed out of this ring, even though you're standing next to a rich, angry, conservative, sexist, AEW hating old man like me. I almost feel like a decent human being standing to you. So at this point, Ethan Page and Scorpio Sky, they're laughing. Then Brandy comes over to Ethan and says, why are you laughing in the corner? The only reason we hired you was to get closer to Josh Alexander from Impact. They used to be a tag team, the North.
Oh shit.
Yeah, it started to get a little real. So then she said, she went back. Chicago started chanting, shut the fuck up. I thought she was rattled. They were going in. Shut the fuck up. Then they started chanting boring. She then followed up by saying that his best fighter got knocked out by Jake Paul. And then Dan Lambert comes back and says he has a few more things to do before he goes down in a glorious fireball of canceled culture. And then Paige Van Zandt walked out, and then it was a pull apart brawl. They did the work shoot so well, and I want to give it a lot of credit, but it was really Dan Lambert who saved it. Like, he totally eviscerated Brandy Rose.
Yeah, I was gonna say they either did it really, really well, or this shit was just really, really real. Like,
yeah.
But damn.
Yeah, I was sitting there just like, and a lot of people were like, I don't know how I feel about that. I'm like, I kind of like it. Dan Lambert is Dan Lambert, and Brandy Rose did have a couple of jabs in there. So I thought that was cool. We had the Andrade Hardy Family Office segment. It set up a Rampage title match between Isaiah Cassidy and Sammy Guevara for the TNT Championship. Next, we had the Kings of the Black Throne versus Penta El Cielo Miedo and Pac. The Kings of the Black Throne won it. I thought it was a very good match, very decent match. Did you want to add anything to this?
Malachi Black, he over there having fun, man.
Of course,
he over there having fun. Man. That's all I would say. He just over there having fun. You could you could tell when a person is comfortable in a promotion where they at by the way they wrestle. You could just tell he's just over there living it up.
Yeah, definitely. We had an Adam Cole promo which set up his Rampage match versus Evil Uno. We then had Nyla Rose versus Ruby Soho. I thought this match was good. Nyla Rose got the win. Ruby missed her future kick, and Nyla Rose got the win.
All right, I'm gonna shit on this one. I'm giving this a god off. For one, she was dominated throughout the whole match. Okay, and then for two, Ruby Soho, she been getting booked protectively for so long, and I don't think that she should have went out the way she did. Like, she basically got squashed. That's what it kind of feels like. And I wasn't feeling this. I think it was too early to do Ruby Soho like that. I hope she bounced back though.
Now that you say that, I saw a lot of people saying that too.
Nyla Rose ain't been on Dynamite in so long, so I was like, she just came back, squashed Ruby Soho, who's been there, and just that was it. Like, I think it was been beneficial if Ruby Soho had actually picked up the win. I think that would have boosted her stack up more. The fact that she defeated Nyla Rose, but I think this was the wrong call.
I can see that. The Gun Club jumped Jungle Boy and threw him outside of Chicago. Well, they threw him outside into the Chicago Elements. Then we had Hangman Page, Dan Lambert, Jake Roberts, Lance Archer segment. The AEW World Champion was hyping up the Texas Death Match for next week. Then he got jumped by Lance Archer.
It's gonna be a hell of a match.
It is gonna be a hell of a match, but the lead up has just been the lead up has been boring
a little bit. Yeah, it's gonna be a hell of a match because these two, they can go in the ring, but it felt like something is missing from the feud, and I finally figured it out. I've been following this I've been watching AEW consistently for a good, I'd say, month and a half, right? So this feud is good, but it's missing something. And both of these wrestlers, they can go in the ring, but they are missing one thing, and that's, to me, charisma. This feud is missing the charisma. Lance Archer, he's a good wrestler, but I don't think he really got the good charisma. Adam Page, Hangman Page, he's a good wrestler too. He got charisma at times, but I really think it depends on who he's working with that bring the charisma out. And it's gonna be a good match, but the feud and stuff, it ain't locking up. I mean, he gonna have to really bounce back. And so far this title reign ain't looking too good.
I would say from the in-ring aspect, it's looked phenomenal.
In ring, yeah, but you know me, I'm a storytelling guy too. So besides his first feud, besides that, I don't think he so far his title reign been boring.
I mean, he won it in November. He's only had it for 3 months.
I mean, just look how exciting Kenny Omega 3 months was.
That was 2 years. That was 2 years worth of storytelling.
But still, it just depends. He ain't capitalizing his first 3 months so far.
He beat the best wrestler in the world
one time, and that was for the title.
He beat Bryan Danielson, and then he went the distance with him. And technically, he would have won if he had a couple more seconds. Those were both 5-star matches. Besides
that, it's been boring.
I mean, he just got to Lance Archer,
and it's been boring so far.
It's just filler to get to the pay-per-view.
And the filler is boring.
Okay.
They lacking the storytelling and on this aspect. Like the feud, the opponent and everything is good. I don't know if it's just these two just don't have the charisma between each other, so that's why it's lacking that. But I mean, to some people it depends. It may be depending on who you working with that bring the charisma out, and y'all can have a hell of a match and everything too. But I just think it's lacking the storytelling charisma on aspect. Like I'm bored with it. Like I'm ready for it to have his match and move on.
No, I agree.
I think by the time he get to that 6-month mark, if it don't change, he dropping the title.
I could see him getting ready to drop it to MJF if I'm being honest. We had a Chris Jericho interview where he called for a meeting with all of Inner Circle, and he said attendance is mandatory. I think Proud and Powerful, Santana and Ortiz are about to leave at the Inner Circle.
They've been teasing it for so long.
Do you think we see Eddie Kingston next week, and that's when they leave?
Most likely. And then we're gonna get that Chris Jericho and Eddie Kingston match. That's what needed.
Whoever wins gets Santana and Ortiz.
Yeah. Or he put his group on the line. If Chris Jericho lose, he's banned from the Inner Circle. Eddie Kingston is the new leader. It could go that way too. I mean, we already know AEW is big on the factions, so I don't think that they'll break up a faction like that. I think they along with switching up the leader. Right now, he in the point of his career where he building up and putting over talent right now. So I think that was something he'll do. Cause he been the leader since they began. It's pretty much he did everything pretty much for the group. So taking a step to the side.
I don't know. I think it'll be Chris Jericho versus Eddie Kingston, Santana and Ortiz for how can I say it? Chris Jericho versus Eddie Kingston for Santana and Ortiz. And I think Santana and Ortiz screw Chris Jericho. That way you still protect him.
Yeah.
Because him going away is going to be earth shattering enough.
Yeah.
Because that's what's going to happen.
How long you keep him off?
I wouldn't bring him back until next year, New Year's Smash.
Yeah, I better say I'll have him off for at least almost a year, if not then a year.
Yeah.
Just to build the anticipation when you hear Judas play again.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, I wouldn't have
back
him
for Eddie Kingston.
Yeah,
but you have to have you have to have a match to be so fucking perfect that it's like you write him off like he got hurt or some shit. You'll have to do something like that for him to be gone for a year. That way you can pick back up the feud. But by this time, you'll see how Eddie Kingston, if they had him be the leader of the new group, or if he just takes Santana and Ortiz with him. And then we'll just see how that overall that year, how that went. A lot of things can happen in a year in wrestling. So you can go from a jobber to a mid card, the high mid card to at the end of the year, champion in 1 year. So we know how dramatic shit can change in the world of professional wrestling. So
yeah,
that will be something nice to see.
Yeah, you were thinking like I was thinking, because the way I would do it, Santana and Ortiz would be AEW World Champions probably about June, July, and have them run it all the way through to the end of the year. And in the meantime, I'm booking Eddie Kingston to win the TNT Championship at New Year's Smash. And then, boom, soon as he wins, because of course Santana and Ortiz, they interfere. And that's how he gets the TNT Championship. And as soon as they're shown in there, all three of them celebrating, holding up their title belts as the new dominant group, boom, Judas hits. We haven't seen Chris Jericho in about a year. The crowd's automatically gonna go nuts.
Yeah.
And then this is when, because you can also throw little tidbits in there where they push Jake Hager to the side and they push Sammy Guevara to the side and they really don't fuck with them no more. So once Judas hits, out comes Jake Hager and Sammy Guevara. Now you got your trios match.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's a lot of ways they can go about it. I hope they do one of those ways. But the main talking point, MJF versus CM Punk. I'm going to give you the floor. See, MJF did get the win in Chicago. Like I said, he would. Go ahead. I got a lot to say, but I'm gonna let you go first.
Yeah, I really thought I was highly shocked. I would say that, but I was really shocked when they pulled that swerve on us, because I was like, hell nah, MJF is really about to fucking choke out CM Punk in Chicago, and sure enough, I was thinking when the ref was doing the arm, when it got to 2, I was like, they always stop at 3. And then when on 3, when his arm fell down, I was like, what the fuck? Are you serious? They really want to do this shit? And then that's where they focused on the string that was on the mat. And then I was like, oh, okay, they pulled the swerve. Okay. And then when the match was going, I seen Warlow come. I was like, okay, now this is where it happens at. But I was shocked. I was actually shocked when he came down with that 3. I was expecting CM Punk to kick out though. But I mean, he's still protected because of the way he won by getting hit with the ring. So I mean, shit. Damn, like he ended CM Punk undefeated streak. That I wasn't seeing that shit at all. MJF, yeah, I could see by the end of this year, if not in the middle of the year, I could kind of see if he on this on his way. I can kind of see him taking the belt off of Hangman. But what if they don't, like, you know how they've been teasing Warlow turning on him? What if they don't do it right away? You know, what if they continue doing that and pushing MJF, so then when they get to the point where he take the belt off of Hangman and Warlow in the ring with him holding his hand up, Warlow look at him, look at the title, powerbomb, and then make his intentions known that I'm coming for you. And then that's who he had his first feud with, but he dropped the title to Warlow.
I like that idea, but let me throw something else in there. They don't go to Long Island that often. That's when I would do the split. I wouldn't go to Long Island for probably about 6 to 8 months. We are in Long Island. Let's just, matter of fact, how can I say this? Okay, we're in Long Island. We haven't been there in 6 to 8 months. MJF is going to be the baby face. You have him compete against Hangman, because of course Hangman's gonna be the heel, only because they're in Long Island, and you do the betrayal there because Warlow's gonna be a baby face, but in Long Island he's gonna be the heel. And what better way for Maxwell Jacob Freeman to get betrayed by somebody close to him than in his hometown? You see the semblance?
Yeah. I do want to point out, because I seen this on Twitter, but they say MJF had wore the Yankees
the pinstripes.
Like CM Punk did with John Cena at Money in the Bank 2013 or 2011, whatever one that was. Yeah, I like to see that little callback. And it makes you see that MJF is a huge fan of CM Punk.
Yeah, man. You got any more you want to add before I take over?
It was really
well, let me ask you.
It was really like he was fighting his hero and everything too. I mean, how often do you get to fight your childhood hero, the person you've been growing up watching, and then you get a chance to have a match? That's a huge accomplishment. I was wrong, but congratulations to MJF. He did something that many can't do. especially AEW, gave him his first loss. It will forever go down in the record books of AEW. CM Punk came back from not wrestling in over 5 years. Came to AEW, ran on a rampage, undefeated streak, and it was broken by MJF in Chicago, his hometown. And just when everybody thought in AEW you always win in your hometown, I'm telling you, they be pulling the ultimate swerve, guys. They are learning, guys. They learning.
You done?
Yeah.
So like you, I had the same excitement. So I love it that they gave it 40 minutes. But I'm not gonna hold you, Salamander. When they did the chokeout spot, I was looking at my phone. I'm like, it's only 9:30. He's not about to choke him out in Chicago. It's only 9:30. And sure enough, his hand went down. And I said, he just be CM Punk in Chicago. And it looked easy. But then you see him drop the tape. And I like how he tried to cover it up with his foot. Bryce Remsburg said, no, restart the match. CM Punk starts going on a roll. But MJF, he's just working different body parts. And the Wardlow tease was chef's kiss. And I love the fact that, and me as a fan, Salamander, I didn't even see Wardlow passing the ring live. Didn't even see it. Then we go to the finish when he hit the Dynamite Diamond ring, when he hit CM Punk with it, and that got him to win in Chicago. Here's what I tell you, Salamander, it takes a lot of balls to still have MJF win in Chicago after you did the fuck finish at the beginning.
All right.
They had 40 minutes, told an excellent story. This match to me was 5 stars. The guy that I always reference, Dave Meltzer, I believe he gave it 4 stars. I thought this was a 5-star match between CM Punk and MJF. This could have main evented a pay-per-view.
It was a hell of a match. Yeah, I would like to see, like, AEW right now. I think they're still trying to build their fan base, but I mean, shit. I mean, you can't really get mad because they're giving us pay-per-view worthy matches weekly. But is that a bad thing? Because they're producing all of these matches that's pay-per-view worthy that they can make like thousands, if not millions of dollars on for free. Because
Nah.
I mean, they could have booked this until the next pay-per-view, capitalize on the revenue of people buying it. Boom, that way. But instead, they gave it to us on free TV, without free TV, but it's free. That's the only problem I see with AEW, that they producing. But that's why I asked, like, are they producing pay-per-view worthy matches on TV on their weekly shows? But is that a bad thing? Because I know it's a good thing because it will build, your fan base up. You have that fan base that are gaining interest to come in and watch y'all and potentially buy y'all pay-per-views. But is it bad because then when it comes to your pay-per-views, what do you have that you ain't ran already that people ain't saw on TV? So that's my question to you, KB, since you the AEW mark. Is that a bad thing?
It's kind of a double-edged sword. It depends on how you look at it. The beauty of AEW is they don't do too many rematches, so it's not hard to really be like, well, that match wasn't as good as the first one, because if they do rematches, it's typically months apart.
So now that we've seen this MJF and CM Punk, if they so happen to book it down the line again, would you want to see it, or because they already gave it to us on free for free. So it's like, would you ever want to see this again? Because what more
I would want
get
to.
out of it versus, I mean, besides CM Punk picking up the win?
I would want to see it again, only if it leads to CM Punk winning the AEW World Title in Chicago. But that would mean that he would be taking it off of MJF, and if that's the order that he's going, then that's fine. Because they wouldn't revisit until 8 to 10 months down the line anyway.
Okay.
So 8 or 10 months down the line, once you go back and see the first part of it, you're like, oh my goodness, I forgot they did this match in Chicago where he won. This match was fire. We're going to get this again just for the AEW World Championship. So you know it's going to be infinitely better than that. And who's to say that at that time, not Warlow, MJF is by itself. Warlow left him. Who's to say where the Pinnacle are going to be? MJF might truly be by himself. CM Punk could at that point have got some added security to take out if the Pinnacle were still there. So it's truly MJF all by itself. And you see a title change in Chicago.
Right.
See, the thing I get on WWE about is you can have people lose in their hometown if you frequent that place a lot. But the problem is you're having people lose in their hometown and you're not going back for 10 to 12 months, a whole year. You're not even getting that heel heat because who's going to remember that? When AEW does it, it's something like on this scale, it's always something huge. CM Punk loses in Chicago. MJF beats CM Punk in Chicago. You'll always know that. And it really just showed that they've made MJF into a star. CM Punk has made MJF into a star. He said he wanted to come over and put over young talent. There you go. MJF looks like the top heel in the company, getting ready to take the belt off of Hangman. Hangman's title reign looks numbered. I give him 3 months at the most. They might pull this switch at Double or Nothing in May. Okay. November, December, January, February, March, April, May. What's that? 7 months? Yeah, it's about that time. Friday Night SmackDown. Going to breeze through this so we can get to the news. We had a Bloodline Paul Heyman Goldberg opening promo. Paul Heyman was just talking about why and what happened with him leaving Roman Reigns, going to Brock Lesnar, getting him in the day one match. All of that was interrupted by Goldberg. Goldberg then said that he acknowledges that Roman Reigns is his next opponent, and they're going to do this in Saudi Arabia for the Universal Championship. Salamander, I'm going to throw these statistics out there to you. Goldberg is 2-0 in title matches for the Universal Championship where he is the challenger. He's 1-0 in Saudi Arabia. Are the tribal chiefs' days numbered? And I'm not going to lie to you. I'm going to tell you right now exactly how I would do this match. It's in Saudi Arabia. Who's to say they don't do a title change? Because you couldn't do this title change in the States because it'd get booed out of the arena. But you can do it in Saudi. So here's how I would do the match. I don't want any of that bullshit that I just said to happen. I don't want a title change, but this is how I would do the match. Goldberg dominates. Guess whose music hits? Brock Lesnar. Brock Lesnar F5's Goldberg, drags Roman Reigns on top of Goldberg. Roman Reigns gets the win. So he can keep it for Roman Reigns. So he can take the Universal Championship off of Roman Reigns going into WrestleMania. That's how I would do it.
Yeah. I mean, it's Saudi, and every year since they went to Saudi, Goldberg been part of the show. If not all, I believe he's been part of all of them. Not for sure. Don't quote me. But I mean, this match it could be a good thing, bad thing. But we were supposed to get it 2 years ago. Roman, he was the big dog. He wasn't ready for that Roman yet. now Roman, he's a tribal chief, which is he's like on God tier level. He's out of this world right now.
He's on God mode.
Yeah, exactly. So it could really go either way, but I don't want it to go either way. I do see Roman days are limited, but what if they pull the ultimate swerve and had him defeat Goldberg, and then Mania had him defeat Brock, just to really solidify him as the best Universal Champion ever?
You know I'm a Tribal Chief fan. I'd go for it.
What if they just go ahead and push for that 2-year reign?
Might as well.
Yeah.
You know how this thing going.
Yeah. But it even like 200 some days left.
Probably. You know what I have him do too? I have him pull double duty. You still gotta fulfill WWE obligations for the WWE Championship. So yes, you will be on Monday Night Raw, defending against Monday Night Raw superstars. He'd be pulling double duty on pay-per-views just to show how good he is.
Nah, I think that was too much.
You think so? But he's on God mode. He could go a tier above God mode. What is that?
I don't know. It's only one man that's above God mode, and that's The Undertaker.
There you go. So we had Ridge Holland versus Ricochet. Ricochet got the win. This match was 1:50. It then led into a Cesaro Ricochet versus Ridge Holland and Sheamus, and Ridge Holland got the win by pinning Cesaro. This match went 2 minutes and 54 seconds. We then had Jimmy Uso versus Eric. Jimmy Uso got the win. This was 1:14. We then got Aaliyah versus Natalya. Aaliyah got the win by countout. This went 2 minutes and 22 seconds. That's about 7 minutes of wrestling, 8 minutes of wrestling.
Yeah, all of these matches didn't last long at all.
These matches, they didn't even go that long. I was just so confused on how we went through 1, 2, 3, 4 matches, and we hadn't even had a full 10 minutes full of wrestling on this, Salamander. What are you thinking just when you hear just the length of these matches? And I'll give it to you one more time. Ridge Holland versus Ricochet went 1:50. It then led to a tag team of Cesaro and Ricochet versus Ridge Holland and Sheamus. Ridge Holland got the win by pinning Cesaro. And that went 2 minutes 54 seconds. Then we had Jimmy Uso versus Eric, and this went 1:14. And Jimmy Uso got the win. And Aaliyah versus Natalya. Aaliyah got the win by countout, and this match went 2 minutes and 22 seconds.
It just really show you where WWE stands with these quick ass matches. I thought only women matches in WWE get those 2 minutes, but I guess I was wrong. Yeah. So next up we had Drew McIntyre, Happy Corbin, Madcap Moss segment. Next, Drew McIntyre called out Happy Corbin. Madcap Moss tried to sneak up behind Drew McIntyre, but Drew McIntyre knew it was coming. He then told Madcap Moss to tell him a joke. Salamander, I'm not going to lie to you. I kind of chuckled at the joke. He said, "What does a criminal found not guilty have in common with the main event of WrestleMania? They're both going to get off scot-free." I chuckled. Madcap Moss is low-key funny. This is god awful. I don't want to see this. I don't want to see. I'm pretty much over this feud as of right now. I'm ready for Drew McIntyre. It seems like they don't know what they want to do with Drew McIntyre now. They don't want to put him in the main event scene, but they want to keep him on TV. So they're trying to figure out what to do with him. And you can tell.
I can agree with that. We had Sami Zayn at the Jackass Forever premiere. He got escorted out and hit with a cattle prod. And then it led to a Sami Zayn, Adam Pearce, and Sonya Deville backstage segment where he was told that he would be getting his Intercontinental Championship match in 2 weeks. Then we went into a Shinsuke Nakamura versus Jinder Mahal Championship Contenders match that Shinsuke won in 3 minutes and 14 seconds. We then had Naomi and Sonya Deville, Adam Pearce backstage, where Naomi rode up on Sonya Deville, told her what she did in the Royal Rumble was wrong, and meet her in the ring in 5 minutes. Sonya Deville said that she would have a title match next week against Charlotte Flair. Adam Pearce confirmed that she would have that match. We had a Natalya backstage segment where she was challenging Aaliyah to a pinfall or submissions dungeon style match, but then Xia Li walked out. We then had the New Day versus Los Lotharios. I thought this match was the best thing on SmackDown. New Day won it, and this match didn't even go 10 minutes. Then we had a Charlotte, Sonya Deville, Ronda Rousey main event segment where pretty much Ronda Rousey came out and said that she would be challenging Charlotte, and she attacked Sonya Deville. What did you think of this last segment?
Look, I think of the last segment as well as the whole show. It was everywhere. Like, what was the point of Ronda attacking Sonya Deville? I mean, I don't find a point for that, but I just feel like this show was just everywhere. You know, it's just, the booking is everywhere. That's it. The show was everywhere. The booking was everywhere.
Yeah,
what do you think of the show?
Definitely. Well, I'm glad you said that because we're going to go back because we didn't really grade each show. So I'll grade mine first.
I was going to grade it by the week.
Oh, there you go. That's even better.
Yeah, so because this week just didn't match up on equal on both sides. I will give the week a 7.
True. Well, we got to get through AEW Rampage. Adam Cole defeated Evil Uno. He then said that he would be going for the AEW World Championship. We had your girl Jade Cargill had a promo package next. She looked good with the title. She looks beautiful with the title. Jade Cargill is absolutely living up to it, and I like how she throws that thing in there because everybody loves to say she's green. Well, guess what else is green? Money, and that's exactly what she's bringing Tony Khan.
She the only reason why I'm tuning in on Rampage. Cause she been on Rampage a lot ever since he got the title. She be on there every week now. So
that's her show.
Yeah. So
I kind of like it that way. I kind of like it that way too, for real. Because you know she's always getting camera time. She's not struggling to get it. So we have the TNT title match: Sammy Guevara versus Isaiah Cassidy. Sammy Guevara got the win. We have Mercedes Martinez versus Thunder Rosa. This match ended in a DQ finish.
I actually forgot that Mercedes Martinez actually signed to AEW. I actually forgot that.
Yeah.
And I was shocked when they announced this match. I was like, what? I was shocked. And I was also shocked. But I'm going to tell you what we get today. We'll save it for the main event.
Okay. I was just shocked because AEW don't do DQ finishes. So this DQ finish actually shocked me when she cracked her with the pipe. I was like, that's a DQ finish. I've never seen a DQ finish like this in AEW.
Tony Khan, he learned it from WWE. He doing it. It's about time for him to test the ropes.
Probably. We had Mercedes Martinez and Britt Baker backstage where pretty much we found out that Mercedes Martinez is a hitman hired by Dr. Britt Baker, DMD, to take out Thunder Rosa. So I'm pretty sure this is how they're going to set up the Thunder Rosa Britt Baker match, and where Thunder Rosa takes the belt off of Britt Baker. Then we had this awesome main event: Jay Lethal versus Ricky Starks. Salamander, everybody's talking about the end. Jay Lethal went for the lethal injection, and Ricky Starks reversed it, countered it into the Rochambeau. I have never seen a more beautiful transition. Twitter was on fire after that transition. What did you think of this main event? I thought this main event, outside of the MJF and CM Punk, this was probably the second best match that AEW put on this week.
Yes, I totally agree. Actually, I forgot that Jay Lethal was actually part of AEW too. I was like, when they announced this match, I was like, what? When did he sign? I forgot, but I like this. It was like, student mixed teachers type shit, like the vet versus the student. And with Jay Lethal being the veteran, Ricky Starks actually held his own. He held his own throughout this whole match, and props to him. And I'm glad that when we did our list of the top AEW stars, we had Ricky Starks on the list. And I'm glad we made the right call of doing that too, because he sure they proved it in this match. This match was hella excellent, and for this to be the 5th week of wrestling this year, this is by far the best match of the year. I would say that CM Punk match and MJF match was good, but I say this is by far the match of the year so far. Like, it's leading so far.
I still had to give it to the pair of Hangman and Bryan Danielson matches, but this match, man, it you know what, a lot of times in wrestling, they don't get you to really believe in a title change, but there were several spots here where I was like, they're going to do this FTW title change.
Yeah.
They're going to have they're going to make Taz have a heart attack on commentary. And I like how they hyped up the lethal injection. Nobody's ever kicked out. And I was thinking when he did it, I'm thinking like, okay, he's going to hit the ropes and do a spear. This could be a nice spot. But then I saw the counter to the Rochambeau. And I damn near threw my phone on the wall. I immediately had to go to Twitter. It was so fluid. It was a video game reversal. It just really goes to show you, Ricky Starks, he's got about, I say 6 months to a year. He's going to be ready to that main event. I want to see him in the TNT title picture. I want to see him start to inch up towards that main event.
Before this year ends, he's gonna reach that title. He's gonna get that TNT title. I can see that. Most definitely. Anything else you want to add to this?
No, man. I'm not gonna hold you. For the week, I'm gonna give it an 8.
I'm gonna hold it at a 7. And this week was really, really carried by AEW. I would say AEW really carried this week of wrestling. WWE, it seemed like they was just booking everywhere. That they overbooked themselves. That's what it seemed like. Hopefully we get a better result next week. We got a couple things coming up. We got the Elimination Chamber in Saudi. When is that? The 15th?
I think so.
So we got that coming up. That's gonna be like 10 o'clock over this time.
I think it's noon.
Noon. Oh, that's even better. But that's gonna be like another 6-hour show. And we just got a lot of wrestling coming up. But week 5 in wrestling, do you think they improving or is it getting worse, or is it getting better? What would you say so far?
I would think, if I'm being honest, I think both companies have a lot of work to do. They have made huge moments, but nothing to me is really sticking. Mm-hmm. Like you're booking for moments, and that's cool, but there's something missing. Like the hottest program isn't with the AEW World Championship, yet the hottest storyline in WWE is the Tribal Chief and the Brock Lesnar meeting and the rumors of a title versus title being thrown out there.
All right.
Like that's a more entertaining storyline than a Hangman Adam Page. You just got the great TNT title match, the ladder match last week. that had a big moment in it, but nothing's really sticking. The Bryan Danielson and Hangman Adam Page, it had great in ring, but like you said, it felt like it was missing that storytelling aspect to it. But what you got in the ring was really good.
All right, so we got a lot of news for you guys. We have over 10 stories for you guys today. So, without further ado, let's jump into this news. The first news story of the day, we have top wrestlers set to debut on AEW Dynamite. The Forbidden Door is open again? Alright, so Tony Khan, he announced on Twitter that a top wrestler will walk through the Forbidden Door and will debut this Wednesday on Dynamite. He tweeted as reference on AEW Rampage, "I have a surprise. Hashtag AEW Dynamite live on TBS Network. A top wrestler will walk through the Forbidden Door this Wednesday and debut in AEW. More info to come." So, he will follow up and say the Forbidden Door could be open from anyone in any wrestling promotion in the world, whether or not the company AEW is on good terms with, even for someone from a different company that's open for business. So, fans are starting to speculate on who it could possibly be. Some say it's Josh Alexander, as his name was already name dropped on Dynamite. Or it could be Okada from New Japan. My question to you, KB, who do you have your eyes on of this top star coming over to the Forbidden Door?
So, the way that Tony Khan broke it down, I have two ways of going about it. The first one is based off who is in the match, because that's a match. It's whoever this new signee is, they're going against Isaiah Cassidy next week. And Isaiah Cassidy can bump. So maybe it's a Keith Lee. So when you see Keith Lee do the Spirit Bomb, you get that amazing sell from Isaiah Cassidy. And have him screaming all the way down. Keith Lee really put it on strong. And that's how he makes his big impact. But he also talked about the Forbidden Door. Somebody that they might not be on good terms with. You say Okada, I say Will Ospreay. He's already mentioned AEW in promos before. He's talked about smashing down the Forbidden Door. I think Tony Khan threw you two different scenarios out there to throw you off the trail.
I mean, he do know what he be doing.
And then sometimes the whole Christian thing was a debacle.
Touche.
But who do you think it could be?
It's damn sure nobody from WWE, I can tell you that. I didn't know that AEW and New Japan was on bad terms, if he's referring to them with that. I agree with Keith Lee. Could be Keith Lee. I mean, it's not Brian. It's not Brian injured. I mean, he already debuted. He already announced his match. I don't know. I don't see it being nobody like big. Like, if it's big, it's gonna have to be somebody from New Japan. Jay White. I can see Okada or probably Tanahashi. Or it may be Kota Ibushi. Never know.
It'll be Kota Ibushi.
It'll be. Ooh, I don't know, but I mean, it just made me excited to see what AEW gonna produce for us next week. So I'm damn sure tuning in. Yeah, I'm keeping up the streak, guys. Like, shit, 2 more weeks. So I've been watching AEW consistently for 2 months. Am I my AEW mark? I don't know. I won't
Probably. But let me ask you this before we move on. Where do you put this? Do you open with this, or is this your main event?
I had this closed.
I have it open because a lot of people are going to be wondering who it is. Why have them wait?
Tease them. You tease it throughout the whole show. You just have. That's what you'll come and play with Tony. Tony Khan teased it. I haven't played of you just throughout the whole show. You just kind of get a little glimpse of Tony Khan in the office talking to a guy. Then we get the back view. We get Tony Khan's face. We see him talking to somebody. Then we just see his back sitting in the chair. We don't see who it is. Then the main event of the match. That's where you had that person go ahead to go. But just throughout the whole show, just have it teased. Have them pop up in like the first 10, like the first 20 minutes. But they could be like the last like 7 minutes. Better way to it. You just see them off in the distance or whatever. Do it in the middle of the show. At the end of the show, you have them debut. That's how you do it.
See, I disagree. I'm throwing it out there because a lot of people are going to be tuned in right at the top of Dynamite to see who this is. You gotta open with it.
They in competition with building their demographics. You want to keep that age range what they're aiming for.
I mean, they're getting the Big Bang Theory rub. People are sticking around from the Big Bang Theory to watch AEW Dynamite.
Yeah.
So you throw it out there in the first 15 minutes, they might like who they see. Like, who is this guy?
I can see that. Okay. Hey, that's a hard one though, but I can see that. But our second story of the day, we got Matt Hardy teases making an extreme character change. So, on this week episode of AEW Rampage, it saw Isaiah Cassidy losing to TNT champion Sammy Guevara. Following the show, Matt Hardy he took to Twitter to make a comment in character about his stablemate losing the match. Now, this is where he dropped an interesting teaser about what he was about to do. He would say, maybe it's time for me to go back to the drawing board. Maybe it's time for me to get rich on what opportunity made me rich, which was me. Maybe it's time for me to lace up my boots a little tighter. Maybe it's time for me to adapt my old model of fear. So, AB, my question to you. Matt Hardy looks like he's about to take, 3 steps back to 20 years ago, maybe 20 years ago, 2002, to take an extreme approach to AEW now. So, is Jeff Hardy coming to AEW? Do he debut with his brother?
Yeah. I think we about to get the Hardy Boys.
Is he debuting his new character with his brother? What music do they come out to?
They can't come out to the Hardy Boys. They can't come out to no War Words. WWE owns that.
Man, I don't know. Jeff Hardy has spent something.
I don't know. I'm very excited for it. One last run in a company that appreciates tag team wrestling. They might pump out a couple 5s.
I could see it though. I could also see them holding the title for a little bit too, before they call it quits at the end of their contract. I think that it's it for them.
I can too. See, AEW, they don't do like TLC matches, but I want them to make up a new concept. Something that the Hardy Boys bring in.
Yeah, I would name the match after them, even after they retire.
Yeah, I want them to bring in a new concept.
And whatever.
So really put them over.
But they should do something like whatever new concept that is. Every tag team title match have to be defending that title in that type of match. Every time it's a
I
title
like
match for the
that.
championship, for the tag team championship, it has to be this AEW TLC version type of match.
Yeah.
Every belt, every title defense is this match. You already know what to prepare yourself for when you have a title. If you're the tag team champion.
I mean, if that's how they want to go out, I'm all for it. Like,
Just like, you know,
we're good.
in WWE every year, you know, you got the Money in the Bank, which is different. You got the Hell in a Cell coming up, that's different. Elimination Chamber, so you got these special type matches that in the match. It's supposed to be like the tag team. So every time you have to get the belt, you know, even when you're going up for the belt, it's always the same match, so you'll know. Like, you have to prepare yourself for a certain way because of the match type.
I guess you could do like a lights out ladder match for the title, but then it wouldn't count on the record. But I guess you would still get the title change.
It'll be that way too.
I think that just sounds kind of goofy though.
Think so?
Yeah, because it'd be like, yeah, they lost, but it doesn't show on the record.
I mean,
But they're not the
it is on
champions
the record,
anymore.
though.
But then it wouldn't be a lights out match.
Nah, they created a new concept just for the tag division title defense.
I could see it. They have to be very unique, very different.
Yeah. It's AEW. They'll make a way.
Of course they will.
All right, so we got our third story of the day. We got Montez Ford share his thoughts on possibly becoming a single star. So, you know, Montez Ford, he appeared on Reality of Wrestling with Booker T to talk about whether or not he see himself as having a singles career in WWE. So, he was asked what it's like to be a my fault. He was asked if he would like to be a single star. Montez will respond, I hear certain chatter. I really don't buy into it much yet because I feel like my job in tags and hands of being the greatest tag team right now in the modern day era. So I feel like a lot of times I'm focused on that. So I feel like a lot of times I'm more focused on that much until it happens. But when it happens, I put my full attention and energy into that too. So, would you like to see Montez Ford as a single star anytime soon? Or do you think right now being in the tag team division with Angelo Dawkins is the way he did it? They should keep him there.
I think that for now he needs to stay in the tag team. If we're looking to break up Montez Ford and Angelo Dawkins, I'd say we got a good 3 to 5 years on that. They could run the tag division for a couple more times, become maybe 7, 8 time or 9 time tag team champions. Then we can get to talking about moving moving Montez Ford up to be a single star. But I want them to tell us.
Now go ahead.
I was gonna say, but I also want them to tell the story of Angelo Dawkins becoming his own man in that mid-card division. Because he's good enough to be there. He's good enough to hold an Intercontinental Championship, a United States Championship. Angelo Dawkins is a very good wrestler.
I think they should keep him as a tag. If you're gonna do the breaking them up thing, it shouldn't be done right now. Then on top of that, he was on the show, and I said this many episodes ago. Booker T should just go ahead and be the manager of Street Profits and guide them to the level they need to be. So then we already know WWE is going to eventually break them up soon. So that way when they break them up, they already at stardom level. Booker T is was part of one of the greatest tag teams ever. And he had a marvelous singles career. He can coach them. I would have him be the manager. of the group or the mouthpiece. I said it before. I'm gonna say it again. That's what they need to do. We got our fourth story of the day. We got Vince McMahon. He changed the finish for the Roman Reigns and Seth Rollins match at the WWE Royal Rumble. Now, to finish off the Seth Rollins and Roman Reigns match at the Royal Rumble, the show was changed by Vince McMahon, per Dave Meltzer. He noted on the Wrestler Observer Radio that Reigns was originally supposed to win a match against Rollins, but it's supposed. My fault. It was okay. Roman, he was originally supposed to win the match against Rollins, and Rollins was supposed to appear inside the Royal Rumble match. But though he fucking up. It was noted on Wrestler Observer Radio that Roman, he was originally supposed to win a match against Rollins, and Rollins was supposed to be part of the Rumble, but those plans were scrapped. So, would you rather have seen these plans, or would you have rather kept what we had already saw?
I would want to see what the different plan was.
The different plan was for Roman to go ahead and pick up the win against Seth, and then Seth was going to enter into the Royal Rumble. Something like basically Brock did.
That sounds like it has you know what? I don't know. Is Seth winning? Because Brock can lose.
I don't know.
Brock can lose. Seth can't lose. He can't lose that.
I don't know. But the finish of the match was changed several times though. But the original plans was for Seth Rollins to be into the Rumble. He made a strong impact last year in the Rumble, so he probably would have won. I say the final two is gonna be Seth and Randy Orton.
I can see that.
Yeah.
See, my thing is, would Seth Rollins win at WrestleMania? Because he would have to win.
I'll say yeah.
Now I'm gonna keep it this way. Because it's title for title, as per the rumors. So I would keep it this way. Unless I could guarantee Seth Rollins winning, I'm gonna keep it this way. Because they'll pull a swerve and have Roman win. When the greater story was Seth Rollins being in Roman Reigns' head, getting the win at WrestleMania, dethroning the Tribal Chief, sending him off into abyss.
All right. So y'all go ahead and let us know in the comment section below where y'all will do with this Seth and Roman situation that seems like it's not finished yet. Moving on to our next story, we got Big E runs as a top single star seems to be over for now. Big E, he slowly was built into a top WWE star after he separated from his New Day members Kofi Kingston and Xavier Woods. He had a long singles run, including an Intercontinental Champion, before winning the Money in the Bank ladder match. He would cash in the Money in the Bank contract on Bobby Lashley during the episode of Raw, where he defended the WWE title several times before dropping it at day one in a fatal 5-way match to Brock Lesnar. So, Brock Lesnar ended up going on facing Bobby Lashley in a match at the Royal Rumble, where he would drop the title to Bobby Lashley. And now in the Elimination Chamber match, Big E's nowhere to be found in there in that not qualification match, but in the match at all. Now it's kind of seemed like his singles run is at a halt right now. And according to Dave Meltzer, it's being reported that Big E is being moved to SmackDown permanently and will be put back with the New Day as a tag team. My question, well, not even a question, just how you feel about this. I've been saying that he was not a champion, he was not ready for that shit If they wanted him to be in the tag, being a single star, he had to come. How he was in NXT, how he separated himself from everybody. He used to do the 5 count, all that shit. He was serious. He still everything you seen about him. They changed his music and all that shit, but everything that you seen about him still resembles the New Day. You still got reminded of the New Day. So therefore, it wasn't gonna work out, and we seen that it didn't work out. That's why WWE decided to do what they did. They took the belt off him and put it on Brock, and they ultimately put the belt back on Bobby, because that's what they should have did. They should have never took the belt off of Bobby. Big E wasn't the one to take the belt off of Bobby at all. It wasn't ready. It was pushed too soon. I think he gained the belt too soon. They were trying to capitalize on something that they could have waited. They tried to capitalize on his singles push. They could have kept him in the upper mid card and just kept him there for another year and build him up there. But you had to separate Big E from New Day. He could still be a part of New Day, but he has to be his own man. To me, when I see Xavier Woods, I don't see the New Day. I see him as King Woods, you know? Even though he come out with Kofi and everything, I see him as his own character. I don't see Big E as that and everything. Like, he singles, but he's still doing the New Day shit, moving his hips shit and all that stuff. Like, I don't see that. I keep seeing the New Day when I see him, and I knew this wasn't gonna work out. To me, they wasted money by getting Wale to do his single, to do his music, because they waste that money just to put him back into the tag with the New Day on SmackDown. And that push is over. You ain't about to play that music no more unless he have a singles match. But other than that, he gonna come out to the New Day music. They're gonna be back on pancakes and shit. Yeah, that was the other. Well, at the end of the day, when they retired, at least you can say 2 members of the New Day was WWE champions. But we don't remember that shit. We just remember they was champions. We remember their run. It seemed to report that Big E wasn't happy with his WWE Championship run because it was fucking ass. Just like Kofi's. The only thing we was decided for one thing, and both of them is the same similarity. Kofi and Big E. We was excited when they first captured the belt, and we was barely excited for Big E when he captured the belt because it wasn't the right time. But Kofi, when he captured the belt, we was happy as hell. But that was it. That was his only best moment. Everybody will only remember how you win the title. They remember how you lose it too. Kofi will forever go down. Like you said this too, KB. Kofi and Big E both lost the title. Same title, matter of fact, to the same man, Brock Lesnar. Enough said. How you feel about this?
You pretty much hit everything on the head. I feel exactly how you feel. He wasn't ready. It wasn't his time. He should have held on to the Money in the Bank. You should have kept him hot. He should really have been cashing in at WrestleMania, giving his WrestleMania moment with this Money in the Bank.
He didn't even make it to fucking Mania with the title.
No, he did.
He didn't even have the title for 6 months. He didn't even have that shit for 4.
And they throw him back with the New Day. They put him back exactly where they think he should be.
Yeah, he should be there because it wasn't the time yet. But I blame WWE too. I don't blame him entirely. I blame WWE too. Because at the end of the day, they approved and they called the shots. They chose not to totally separate him from the New Day. And they chose to keep his character the same way. So I blame WWE. But moving on to our next story. WWE, they sent Ronda Rousey a ring to train at home before she make her in-ring debut. Well, return, excuse me. Now, we already know she made her return at the Royal Rumble. And it was really surprising that's how rusty she was. But WWE seems to notice that too, and they went ahead and sent her a ring so she can go ahead and train herself at home and get herself back into shape. Even you said this yourself, KB. Ronda Rousey, On SmackDown, she looks happy. Not on SmackDown, but on Raw, she looked happy. So I do think when she first came, she wasn't training at all, but she didn't think that she was gonna get the amount of love that she got because of her last encounter in WWE. Now that she got the love, now that she's more happy and more willing to go 110%. So yeah, I see this as a good thing. So by the time when we see her at WrestleMania, I think she'll be good. I think she has a little better than the last time we saw her. Not the Royal Rumble, but the last time when we saw her at WrestleMania. 30. What was that? 35.
I think so.
I think she'll look better than that.
WWE wants her in top shape. That's all it is. Nothing more to it. We're gonna send you this ring. We want you to do training. So when it is time for you to get in the ring at WrestleMania, you are absolutely 100% ready to go. You're going against Charlotte Flair. They're probably going to give it a lot of time. Well, they have to. It's the main event. It's probably the main event of night one. So they got to give it some time.
Moving on to our next story. Now, this is something I really want your opinion on. WWE is still planning a big feud for Drew McIntyre. Now, Drew McIntyre, he was reportedly in line for a feud with the WWE Universal Champion, Roman Reigns. It was started with the idea of them working the match at the Royal Rumble, but those ideas been scrapped. You know what we got already. WWE, they've been advertising tag team matches featuring these two stars against each other at house shows in January and February. However, the neck injury that sidelined McIntyre before it could happen had written him off of TV, and at day one, plans got changed with Roman Reigns catching COVID and everything, so a bunch of stuff got scrabbled. This was originally on the board. We was originally supposed to get Drew McIntyre, Roman Reigns at the Royal Rumble, but instead we got Roman Reigns and Seth Rollins. It kind of explains why they're keeping them in the field with Mad Cat Moss and Happy Corbin right now too. But his plans, the original plans for Drew McIntyre was to feud with Roman Reigns for the Universal title. But we seen how they got scrapped away and how things is going right now. And now Roman is set to face Goldberg at the Elimination Chamber. So they kind of set this feud back a little bit more. And we already know if he retains his title at the Elimination Chamber, Roman is going to feud with Brock Lesnar for the Universal title at WrestleMania. So do you think this is going to happen after WrestleMania if he so happen to beat Brock Lesnar? Or do you think this is going to be the last stop that he made at the pay-per-view before Mania, before he faced Brock Lesnar?
This will probably be done after Brock Lesnar.
So you got Roman beating Brock at Mania.
A part of me is wondering if Brock dethrones Roman and Drew McIntyre beats Brock for, let's just say, the Universal Championship at the next pay-per-view after WrestleMania. Brock's not going to be holding two titles unless they're going to do a unification. But they didn't say a unification.
Yeah. They keep saying no, but they keep booking that way though.
I mean, like, you can do a title for title, but is that a unification or is it a title for title? Because that's two different things. I mean, am I making sense?
Title for title, because it's like, well, it don't matter, because in a title for title, if I lose, I get your title. You win, you get my title. So it's like, yeah, but that's not swapping.
I mean, but that's not a unification belt. Like, they're not combining. They're not combining the belts. It's just a title for title.
Or it's probably gonna be how it was when they first did it. When they you just win the title, you just hold both of them. Then eventually, they just unify by itself silently. Like this one week, you come out with two belts, and they announce you as the WWE World Heavyweight Champion. At first, they used to announce you as the WWE Universal and World Heavyweight Champion. And they do that, and they announce you as the World Heavyweight Champion. Then 2 weeks later, you come out with one belt. And a week later, you have a conference. Boom. Show the new belt that's unified now. You know how they do it. That's how it was before. They came out with both belts. They had the WWE title, and big gold belt, the World Heavyweight title. And then eventually they was calling it the World Heavyweight title. You came out with both of them. Then eventually it was just the title, the WWE World Heavyweight title now. You know how WWE do. They ain't gonna officially make it a unification title. They gonna announce it after it already been unified. After they did it, silent.
I guess, but was I making sense? Like, did you see what I meant?
Yeah. Like,
okay.
I don't know. I think they're booking themselves into a nutshell right now. I don't think they know what they're doing. They don't want a unification title, but they booking themselves into that shit. So it's like, I don't know. We will really see what's gonna happen on Elimination Chamber. If Brock Lesnar win, I don't know what the fuck they doing. That's how that's just how I can put it. So, moving on to our next story, we got Brock Lesnar. He set 2 WWE records with his Royal Rumble victory. Now, Brock Lesnar, he worked 2 matches at the Royal Rumble, and that made history in the process. Earlier that night, he lost the championship to the Almighty Bobby Lashley. He trying to challenge for Roman Reigns' Universal title at WrestleMania 38. Now, Lesnar, he entered the match at number 30, and he proceeded to eliminate 5 stars in under 3 minutes. That's impressive. Dave Meltzer, he reported on the Wrestling Observer newsletter that Lesnar, he set 2 Royal Rumble records. He spent the least amount of time in the ring, coming in the Royal Rumble in 2 minutes and 32 seconds. It was also the most years spent between winning the Royal Rumble match, as it was 19 years since his first win. So that's an impressive resume. Brock Lesnar, hands down, is going down. Like, once he retired that day, he's in the Hall of Fame. Like, they should hold a special Hall of Fame class from that day he announced his retirement for good. And he had an impressive resume when it comes to this professional wrestling shit. Impressive.
It's the beast. There's nothing more. He was already a top guy when he first stepped foot on WWE soil. Man, he's done nothing but add to the mystique. That is Brock Lesnar. Everything about him just screams money. The best combat fighter in all of WWE. That's one guy I wouldn't want to step in the ring with. You saw what happened when Braun Strowman was stepping out of line. 2-pieced him up real quick.
He made him. He hit him so hard his hair was gone. He hit him so hard he ain't in the company no more. But now to our last story, and this is basically probably most definitely the story of the week, maybe the story of the year. Shane McMahon got fired by his daddy. Period, point blank. This was a shocker for me. When this was announced, I was like, what the hell? Why? He was just in the Royal Rumble too. But I guess he did something wrong in the Rumble, which had put him off a bad start with his dad. But I guess they already have not been seen eye to eye anyway. But damn, Shane McMahon is not. Let me get this off my tongue. Shane McMahon to AEW.
So he booked himself too strong in the Royal Rumble, and it caused chaos backstage. And they slowly let him go quietly. A lot of people are thinking Shane McMahon is stepping through the forbidden door.
Could that be Shane who Tony Khan talking about?
I mean,
Did he come out with? Here comes the money.
I think it's a little tease. Like kind of like how Bryan Danielson has a little lead up. So you know before his real music hits. I think they could do it like that. But I don't think it's Shane McMahon. I don't know how I would feel. I don't know how I feel if I just saw Shane O'Mac out here in a black and gold AEW
Right, like
shirt
McMahon is exactly. But what if he takes the role of a full-time wrestler? Nah, he'll have to take a role of on-screen personality. I don't think.
Do you want to see Shane O'Mac in AEW?
Anything possible at this point. I mean, they fired him, but do you think they fired him on purpose to possibly kind of dibble and dabble to AEW, the sabotage company?
In the back of my mind, I was thinking that. Not even gonna hold you.
It could be. It could go either way. It could go either way, man. I don't know. It just really made me anticipating for Dynamite next week. Like I really can't wait to tune in and talk about who comes. So I mean, that's a good feeling. It's always a good feeling when you're anticipating for the next episode of wrestling. Period. So I mean, AEW, they doing the damn thing right now. Week 5 of wrestling, I feel like wrestling is getting better week by week. WWE, they going the big route by using big names. AEW, they go on the route of using their own stars, building them up, booking 5-star matches. I would say that. But y'all go ahead and let us know what y'all think about this week of wrestling below. Go ahead and leave a like on the video if you haven't already. Subscribed to the channel. Go ahead and get us up. We want to be YouTubers. Go ahead and get us up there. Go ahead and subscribe to the channel. Leave a like on this video. Help the video reach out to a wider audience. This is WBPTV. Anything in the world of wrestling, you can find it here. From news, documentaries, biopics, everything you can find here on this channel. Why go anywhere else? You can find it here. You can catch us at the DB Podcast on all podcast platforms. Wherever you get your podcast, you can catch us on there. Once again, I'm Camilio Salamander. We got KB the Mark, and we just some fucking Mark.
I started with nothing and came out a king. I've been the one that's been ballin' for rings. It's been me and my team and we chasing the green. My team be the shit, we ain't ballin' for free. My team be the shit, we ain't ballin' for free.